Kicks 105.5 WKXH. Good morning, I'm JJ. It is Wednesday, May 24th at 7:51 and 55 degrees outside. I'll have your full weather forecast coming up in just a little minute, or just a few minutes. But right now, we're going to talk with Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Oh, just peachy.
Peachy. So you're not peachy keen, you're just peachy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be warmer for you to be peachy keen, apparently. Yeah.
I'm just a peach. So, what are we talking about this morning for good policies?
You know, somebody here in the studio was asking a good question about roofs. So let's hit that topic, okay? So the question was, if I have a couple of layers of old shingles on my house and I rip them all off and put a brand new roof on, will that help or change or assist or better my insurance risk or cost? And the answer to that is, How's that for an answer? So, in this case, yes, it would. It would definitively change the situation. So, if you have a roof that is questionable while you're looking for insurance, it's going to really restrict the amount of companies out there that would entertain the risk, right? So, the companies out there that are what we call standard carriers, which you think of the companies like Allstate, Concord Group, Kemper, the Hartford, Progressive, Cooperative Insurance, Maine Mutual, the list goes on and on. Union Mutual, Vermont Mutual, there's 100 of them. Those are all standard admitted carriers. They all have a pretty particular guideline of what they'll accept for condition of roof. It's got to be in a good to excellent repair. So if you have a questionable roof, you may have to go to an excess or surplus lines carrier, which is the same thing, just different name for the same thing. And those types of carriers have a broader acceptability of conditions that may not be acceptable by standard carriers. Here lies the problem, or at least the issue. You're going to pay more money. So a homeowner's policy that should be between $800 and $1,200 a year, depending on the house, could be as much as $2,400 to $4,000 a year if you have a roof that's not acceptable by surplus or excess lines carriers. So to answer the question, if you had a company, like a standard company, that didn't know your roof needed repair, and you were with them, well, you're not going to see any change if you repair it. You'll just be better off if they do decide to come and do an inspection someday, which they may or may not ever do. But if you're with an excess or surplus carrier, put a new roof on it, that was the primary reason while you're with that carrier, now it's time to go shopping. Because now you get a brand new spanking roof on the house. It's going to be a much more attractive risk for the carriers as long as the paint or the vinyl or whatever siding is in good condition, windows are in good condition, no rot on the outside, you got reasonably updated heat, proper heat, electrical, no knob and tube or fuse box, things like that. You're going to find yourself plenty of options, and it's going to be a lot less costly. And instead of paying it all at once, which is what excess and surplus companies require, you can actually choose a payment plan. So It'll be nice. So they answer your question, yes, and a little bit.
That does bring to mind another question. Talking about siding, a lot of these old buildings have that asbestos siding.
Yeah. There are companies out there that will not accept asbestos siding. I have companies that will, though. There's some companies that just don't care. If whatever it is, if you have it, that's fine. There's a EIFS type of siding and a asbestos siding. Many companies that I have do not like that and will not accept it, but I can find some that will without having to go to an excess or surplus carrier, which is a good thing.
So would it be advantageous? I don't know if I said that word.
It sounded pretty darn good to me.
To pay someone to take that off and dispose of it and put on siding that isn't poison.
Yeah. What I find, because the second you start playing with asbestos, you run the risk of the fibers getting, in the air, especially in outside siding. It's going to be a real mitigation process, probably pretty darn expensive. So what I find, and maybe this isn't the right way, but I assume it is if you just contain it, right? So put sheathing over it and reside the house. And so because then it's protected, it's underneath, it doesn't run the risk of deteriorating any further or flaking or putting contaminants in the air. So if you reside the house, that's probably a good way. That's how a lot of people with lead paint, you don't necessarily scrape all the lead paint in every case. You just make sure that you cover it up properly so it's not flaking. That's the big thing.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah. There's lead law in Vermont too. So There's a lead law in Vermont where you got to be compliant. You got to be lead certified. You have to be certified to do lead abatement. You also have to be certified to do annual lead test on at any rental property. If you have a rental house built prior to 1979 in Vermont, and this only applies to rentals, not single-family use, right? If I buy a house that was built in 1939, who cares? But if I buy a house built in 1978 and I'm renting it out and it's a one-family residence or maybe it's a five-family residence, I have to comply with the Vermont lead law. And that's way outside of insurance to a point, but also part of the requirement is you got to send your annual certificate to the insurance company. A lot of people don't know that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And you don't want your kids eating paint chips.
No. Look at me.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That kind of explains a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I'm the Gen X generation. I rode in the back of station wagon facing the cars behind me waving. So without a seatbelt and,
We used to
Drink
ride
out of a
around
hose.
in the back of Dad's pickup truck.
Oh, those were the days. My son would just be so in his glory if he could ride in the back of my truck. Every day he'd go, can I ride in the back? No, not allowed. It's against the law. But yeah, there were days that we would just go cruising and be in the back of the truck. Those were the days, right?
Well, back in the day.
Back
those
in the
were
days. Does that make us old? I think it does. I think it does.
I think it does.
Yeah. Don't forget, if Marty went back to the future today, he'd be in 1993, which is the year I graduated high school. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Where'd you graduate from?
I'm an Academy alumni. My 30th reunion's next week.
L.I.
Oh, I
Sorry.
can't talk to you anymore.
But my son went to the academy.
Oh, okay, then we're friends again.
Okay.
We're friends. No, actually, LI and St. J, I have a lot of LI friends, so there's no issues there. Love them all.
Okay. So, someone's calling me. Why are you calling me when I'm doing an interview?
That was a misdial. I don't know.
Call me back after 8, please.
Is that your voicemail?
I don't know. Could be the boss.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Good luck.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
My
and
pleasure.
Sharing that information. If someone has any insurance questions or anything like that, or wants to talk about maybe setting up a policy with you,
Yeah.
how can they do that?
Easy. Give us a call, 748-5224. Find us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
And did you have your NEK Can event this past weekend?
So there was an event this past weekend. It wasn't our event, but we were the ones that were receiving we're the beneficiaries of the event. It was the Northeast Kingdom. It was the Garen Strong Cornhole Tournament at Fenton Chester Arena. I heard it went very, very well, and we're going to hear more about it at our meeting. We have an NEK Can meeting tomorrow night, so I'll find out more about it. I heard it went very well, though. So
Well, great. I hope to hear more about that next week.
there you go. Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. That was Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency on Portland Street, right here in St. Johnsbury.